Hey everyone, I'm Lisa Gilbert. I'm co-president of Public Citizen. I'm really excited to welcome everyone who's joining us today. This is our kickoff installment of Informed Resistance, which is the public launch of the Public Citizen substack. Today we have a very special guest with us that I suspect many of you will already know. This is my friend and former ambassador, Norm Eisen. Norm was the ethics czar under President Obama. He is now one of the leading voices holding the Trump administration accountable for their endless ethics violations and rule of law, authoritarian power grabs. In his current role as the co-founder of Democracy Defenders Fund and pundit, Norm, it's so great to see you.
Lisa, it's wonderful to be with you. Great to be with the informed resistance. And there's nobody more important to the work that we do to defend our democracy than you and your colleagues at Public Citizen. And I'm so honored to work with you. Often the very first case that we filed against Doge and Elon Musk run attack on our government was with Public Citizen and my Democracy Defenders Fund colleagues at the first minute of the first hour of the second Trump administration. Great to be here.
Thank you. And yes, that's right. We have that august honor of being the very first case as we start to take on the Trump administration together. So we continue to do things together ever since then. As you know, this week, our organizations wrote a joint letter demanding the resignation of Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, who has absolutely no business being in the position that he is in. So I wanted to start with that since we just did it and hear a little bit from you on your perspective on why he must go.
Well, Mr. Lutnick said one thing about the Epstein files, minimizing his involvement. And then lo and behold, the additional files were dragged kicking and screaming out of the government. Still not enough. And there's more information about Lutnick's relationship, connection, contacts with Epstein, including pictures of Lutnick on Epstein's island. So that undermines our confidence in him. But there are many other allegations, including whistleblower allegations that have been reported. Questions about how Lutnick family members in their economic capacity are benefiting from statements or decisions, actions that he's taking as Commerce Secretary. And when you add it all up, a lot of questions, we need answers. But here's one question that we know the answer to. Should he stay in government? No, we're calling for his resignation together.
That's right. That's right. Couldn't agree more. And I think far more questions than answers. And that is the hallmark of somebody who is inappropriate for their post. I'm glad you referenced Epstein first. Obviously, it's been the backstory for this administration's corruption. Seeing the trove of horrifying materials that have been uncovered after there's been relentless pressure from Congress, from the public. There's a lot more material to come. As we know, they have redacted inappropriately and kept things from us. So I wanted to ask you for a minute, just, your take on that situation. Obviously, Pam Bondi is a recent casualty of unwillingness to speak and acknowledge the victims in the situation when she was called in to testify. So just wanted to hear sort of your latest take on how the Epstein issue is coloring what's going on and what we can expect.
It's the biggest corruption scandal of the Trump administration, in my view, Lisa. Corruption is, after all, the abuse of entrusted power to benefit the few and the powerful at the expense of the public interest and the most vulnerable. And in the Epstein scandal, we see Donald Trump's longstanding close relationship with Epstein. The pictures, they're so shocking. The birthday book where the Wall Street Journal reported Donald Trump sent a salacious message to Epstein on the occasion of his birthday. Trump denies it's his. That's pretty tough to accept, just looking at the evidence. And then when Trump gets in office, what you see is again and again, the documents about Trump seem to be hidden. Why is it when there's always, oh, we forgot to include that document? Uh, Sometimes those documents often seem to be about Donald Trump, then they're forced to reveal them. There's the question of what documents are still being held back, about 3 million approximately still being held back. How many times is Trump in there? Trump's ever shifting explanation of his relationship with Epstein, truly disturbing allegations in these documents about alleged Trump misconduct. We don't know if that's true or not, but they're shocking. And then the apparent sweetheart deal with Ghislaine Maxwell, where Trump's former personal lawyer, interviews her. Supposedly, she says, "Oh, Trump gives Trump a clean bill of health." We know she's a unrepentant liar. She doesn't admit she lied before. And she goes from a serious prison where she deserves for her involvement in child sex ring, because after that interview, she goes to a country club prison. She's transferred. That unholy Ghislaine Maxwell situation, all of that is corruption. It fits that definition of apparent utilization by the powerful of their power at the expense of the most vulnerable. We're not standing for it. We're litigating to get those documents, as we so often do. 200 over 265 legal cases and matters at the Democracy Defenders Fund, Democracy Defenders Action.
Well, that is an incredible number, and we've been proud to partner with you wherever we can in this fight against the rule of law abuse and corruption and just lawlessness we have seen from this administration. So appreciate your take on Epstein, and I think it takes me into wanting to talk a little bit about DOJ in general. I mentioned earlier, Bondi's refusal to acknowledge the Epstein victims. Obviously, DOJ's handling of Epstein is just one tiny piece of the, bastardization of the DOJ that we've seen in this era. You've seen people fired. We've seen dropping of enforcement. We've seen the use of the agency as honestly a personal revenge tool on the part of the president.
Unbelievable.
Over and over again, and it's appalling, and it's like a horrifying rebranding of the agency. And so I wanted to get your overall take on what we should be watching when it comes to DOJ.
Well, as terrible as they've been frustrated in their efforts to do some of the very worst things. Trump installed his phony cronies around the country, and we should continue to watch as they fall like dominoes, Lisa. We were very proud at Democracy Defenders Fund to bring the very first case challenging one of those phony crony prosecutors, Alina Habba, another Trump personal lawyer, supposedly the acting U.S. attorney in New Jersey. We said her appointment was illegal, and we won that case, and that was the model. That same theory was used to knock out Lindsay Halligan's prosecution of Tish James and James Comey by their very capable lawyers. We came to court with dozens of former judges and prosecutors appointed by both parties, filed briefs, and we just filed another brief this week in the appeal because Donald Trump was frustrated again there. The last thing to watch for is how will the James and Halligan cases, the other criminal cases, the bogus prosecution by DOJ of Don Lemon and Georgia Fort in Minneapolis for just covering the news. Um, Donald Trump is very frustrated. These stratagems are not working. I think in the end, the rule of law will hold, but that may mean that Trump throws out Pam Bondi because she's just not accomplishing the illegalities that Donald Trump wants. Thank goodness the courts and litigants are holding strong.
It's a great point. And it also begs the question if Pam Bondi, the most loyalist actor we have seen, is unable to deliver in the ways that Donald Trump wants, there's really no one who can consider themselves safe in this administration as they
No.
do illegal actions on his behalf. Really helpful snapshot in thinking about DOJ. We completely agree in terms of what there is to watch. In addition to just monitoring the FBI within the DOJ as Kash Patel goes on his tour of the world using taxpayer funded jets and then visits the Olympics and travels his girlfriend around. Obviously endless corruption and abuse of law to watchdog and litigate on. So just great to hear you describe what you all are doing at DDF. Okay, I know that we could probably talk for 3 hours. There is so much to unpack and talk about, but our time today is limited. You are running to another legal intervention, a litigation moment, I believe. So want to say for folks watching, please subscribe to our Substack. This is where we're going to be updating you on what this lawless administration is up to, how to challenge it, how to get informed as you resist. Norm, do you want to plug in where the audience can find you as well if they want to learn more about DDF?
Well, you can find us at democracydefendersfund.org. And of course, you can find me on Substack at The Contrarian. And Lisa, I'm so grateful to be a part of this effort on your Substack and to work side by side with you and our other wonderful friends at Public Citizen. You're the best allies we and the American people could ask for in defending our democracy. And look forward to doing much more of that with you.
Thanks, Norm. We'll back at you. And thanks so much for joining us. And until next time, everyone. Thanks.